Hello, welcome you guys to this channel. And in our discussion today, we shall be talking about between which two integers does a surd lie. Okay. Now, many times learners know the answer to this, but how do we obtain the answer? So people wonder, what is a surd? So a surd is basically any number that is under a root, like maybe the square root of 4, square root of 5, square root of 7. All those are what we call the surds. Okay. Now, between which two integers do we get the answers? So these surds are usually approximation of answers. An example, when you talk about the square root of 5, okay? So we know that the square root of 5 is something like 2,236, and so on and so forth, okay? Now they want us to find between which two consecutive integers. Remember, integers are basically numbers that we find on a number line, okay? Between which two numbers do we find this 2,236? So you can see that the smallest number or the whole number is a 2, which means this value is going to be found between 2 and 3. These are consecutive integers. Consecutive simply means one after the other. So this is how we would represent that, okay? So those are the answers, but then how do we get to these 2? How do we arrive at the 3? That is what we're gonna discuss in this video. And so if it's your first time to the channel, please do subscribe so that you get updates on new videos that will be uploaded with regards to your subject matter. Okay, so the hints that we normally use, that we normally have to make use of square numbers. So square numbers are basically perfect squares. These are basically numbers whose square root we can find. Okay, that is if you're dealing with square roots. Or we can use cube numbers if we are dealing with the cube roots. So those are the basic hints that we normally need to use. We have this example between which two consecutive, simply means one after the other, integers is the square root of 24 found on a number line. Then draw a fully labeled number line to illustrate that. So we have root 24. All right. We have root 24. So before we even start with answering the question, let's just remind ourselves that square numbers are basically numbers we get after squaring the natural numbers. Like 1 squared is going to be 1. 2 squared is a 4. 3 squared is a 9. 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. 6 squared is 36. 7 squared is 49. And so on and so forth. Okay? So now these are the numbers that we need to choose from. So the question is going to be, which square number comes before 24? So we know that 24 is going to be somewhere here as a number, not as a perfect square, as a number somewhere there. So the square number before 24 is going to be 16. And then the square number after 24 is going to be 25. And then your next step will be for you to find the square root of 16 less root 24 and less the square root of 25, since we're looking for integers. So square root of 16 is a 4. This is 24. And then this is a 5. Now, if you have to represent this on our number line, it's simply going to be a 4. And then it's going to be a 5. And then we can just put those dots. And then we connect it. Just like that. So it's in between, somewhere there, between 4 and 5. All right, so that is how that question will be answered. Okay, let's look at the next one. Between which two integers does negative root 53 lie? Show all the working detail. Okay, now we're dealing with a negative number. So regardless of whether it's a positive or a negative, the basic principle is just the same. Okay, so let's go to our square numbers here. So we're talking of 53. So 53 can be found between 49 and 64. That's where we find the 53. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to say 49 is less negative root 53 is less, I'll say root what? 64. Then all I would have to do, okay, I've already put a root, it's fine. I can put a root as well. I can just introduce the negative signs there. Okay. Then I know that the square root of 49 is going to be 7. So it's going to be negative 7 is less negative root 53. And then it's less negative 8. And then all we have to do is flip this around. Okay. We just have to flip it around so that the negative 8 comes first, because negative 8 is smaller. So negative 8 is less root negative 53, and then less negative 7. So with these signs here, they could change to greater since you're introducing the negative sign. Let's just correct that, since people will penalize me for explaining the inequalities wrongly then. Okay, so it should be like this. And then when you flip it around, that's what it should become. All right, so that is how that would have been obtained. Then Patsy, between which two integers does the cube root of 18? Okay, so cube numbers or perfect cubes are those whose cube root can be obtained. So 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed is 64, and so on. So we're seeing that 18 is in between 8 and 27. So tell us 8 is less the cube root of 18, then is less 27. Then find the cube root for those numbers. So cube root of 8 is 2. And then this is the cube root of 18. And then that is 3. So in most cases, if you can find the lower value, then the next number after that lower value automatically becomes the last value. All right, guys, thank you very much. If you have any questions, if you have any contributions, please just load them under the comment section. Thank you very much.